We tend to think of medicine as a pretty precise science, right? You get sick, you take a drug, you get better. But have you ever stopped to wonder why the exact same drug that saves one person's life might have absolutely no effect on someone else? Or even worse, cause harmful side effects? It's a huge mystery, and it's pointing us toward a massive revolution in how we think about our own bodies.
I mean, you've probably experienced this yourself. A painkiller that works wonders for your friend does literally nothing for you. Well, this isn't some failure of medicine. Actually, it's a clue. It's a clue that we are on the verge of unlocking a much, much deeper understanding of how our bodies really work.
So let's picture this. We start with one standard pill for what we think is one standard condition. But look at the outcomes. They're all over the map. For some people, it brings relief. For others, nothing. And for some, it actually causes harm. The pill itself doesn't change. The variable here, well, the variable has to be us. For decades, the whole model was one size fits all. And yeah, things like your age, your diet, your environment, they all matter. But what science is screaming at us now is that the most important differences are written right into our unique biological code. So to really get a handle on where we're going, we've got to take a quick look at where we've been. The history of how we find new drugs can really be broken down into three major revolutions, and each one has gotten us a little bit closer to this idea of truly personal medicine. The first revolution, you could say, was an age of happy accidents. That's how we got world-changing drugs like penicillin. Then came the second revolution, which was all about systematic chemistry. Scientists could now create thousands of new compounds, which gave us things like statins and Prozac. But today we are living in the third revolution. This is a whole new era where drugs are no longer designed for the average person, but are being targeted to an individual's very specific biology. And the engine driving this whole third revolution? It's genomics, our incredible ability to read our own DNA. The idea was simple, right? If we can read the body's blueprint, we should be able to predict exactly how a person will respond to a drug. But it turns out the blueprint isn't the full story. It turns out our genes only give us a partial picture. They're the blueprint, sure, but they don't describe the finished product, with all its complexity and little variations. To find the real answer, we've got to look at what that blueprint actually builds. And that answer lies one level deeper than our genes. It's with the actual workers that our cells build from those genetic plans. And this is where we find the absolutely crucial difference between something we've all heard of, a protein, and something you might not have, a proteoform. Okay, so quick biology refresher. We all learned that our genes contain the instructions to build proteins. And proteins are basically the little machines and messengers that do almost all the work inside our cells. For decades, pretty much every single drug has been designed to go after these general proteins. But here is the twist. A single gene doesn't just create one single type of protein. Nope. Through all sorts of little changes and modifications, one gene can pump out hundreds or even thousands of different, very specific versions. And these variations, these are called proteoforms. They're all part of the same family, but they can have wildly different jobs. Let's use an analogy. Think of a single gene as the blueprint for a car. The general protein is just the base model of that car. But the proteoforms, well, those are all the specific trims you can get from that same blueprint. The sports model, the family van version, the convertible. They're all the same basic car, but they function very differently. Now, if you design a drug, a key for the general model, it might not work on the sports version at all, or it might do something you don't want, like pop the trunk instead of starting the engine. And all of this brings us to a brand new field of science called proteoformics. It's the study of these super specific proteoforms, and it is without a doubt the future of how we're going to design drugs, with absolute laser-like precision. See, the old way was to target that general protein. But since that protein actually exists in all these different forms in your body, the drug just hits all of them. The result is a scattershot. You might hit the right one and get the effect you want, but you might also hit others and get no effect, or even get those toxic side effects we talked about. So here's the absolute key takeaway. The reason one pill can have so many different reactions is that it's interacting with a whole family of different proteoforms inside our bodies. In one person, a disease might be caused by proteoform A, but in someone else, it's being driven by proteoform B. A drug that only targets A is going to be totally useless for that second person. This is the fundamental shift. We are moving from the old way, targeting general proteins, to a new, much more precise way, identifying the exact proteoform that's causing the problem in a specific person, and then designing a drug just for that one target.
It's the difference between using a clunky master key and a key that is perfectly cut for one single lock.
So look, this science is fascinating, but what does it actually mean for our health, for the future of the medicine that you and your family are going to receive? Well, the implications are just enormous. By focusing on proteoforms, we can get a way deeper understanding of diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. It's going to let us discover totally new drug targets that we never even knew existed, assess our own individual health risks with way more accuracy, and ultimately create truly personalized treatments that work better and have far fewer side effects. And this is the ultimate goal, what it all comes down to. One person, one unique biological profile, and one therapy designed specifically for them. No more guesswork, no more trial and error, just medicine that works. Now, this isn't science fiction. This is the third revolution in medicine, and it is happening right now. So the next time you take a pill, think about this. We are leaving the era of one-size-fits-all medicine behind and entering an age of medicine made for one. The question is no longer if your prescriptions will be personalized, but when.